What's going on, guys? My name is Tommy. Welcome back to the channel, and it's time once again for more of your Pathfinder playtest coverage. Today, Mr. AAA1E2R3 would like us to take an in-depth look into polymorph magic, specifically as it applies to the wizard. So, you know, that class that I rag on all the time because I'm a charisma-based character myself. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Remember, if you guys are liking what you're seeing, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. This episode of your Pathfinder playtest coverage was brought to you in part by Mr. Anthony Campanaro. Thanks so much for your help, my friend. Now, let's hit it. Okay, so as you guys know, if you've watched any of our old videos, wizards aren't really my thing. Is the class powerful? Yeah, no question. I can't argue with that. But I just don't enjoy playing intelligence-based casters unless they're first edition witches, but honestly I prefer the shaman, and that's not for the spell list so much as the immediately breaking the game. But this is not a first edition video. This is a video that looks at a school of magic that I am imagining most wizards don't really delve into. Now, I could be just completely wrong on that, but I'm imagining by and large it's evocation, illusion, necromancy. I've seen all of those at my tables. Never have I ever seen a transmuter. So, let's break it down in detail, shall we? So, of course, wizards have access to arcane schools. Our transmuter, in addition to getting a first level transmutation spell, but you also get handed the physical boost school power. Physical boost gives you, or whatever you target, for 2 actions at a range of touch, as long as it's alive, until the end of the target's next turn, a plus 1d4 conditional bonus to the next acrobatics, athletics, or stealth check it attempts. So that's basically like 5e guidance, and it's better than our guidance now, because in the playtest, you get bolstered against guidance, which is probably fair, and it makes it a little less creepy for the guy with guidance on his spell list to be just touching the whole party, but that was really good, obviously, back in the day. This is kind of a marriage of first edition Pathfinder and 5e D&D, and that's super good. Both for like the wizard who probably didn't train those, and if you roll a 4, you've bought off the untrained, and when you really, really need your rogue to sneak up on someone and liberate their kidneys. The Transmuter also has access to the school power Shifting Form, which can either make said wizard accelerated 10, can give them dark vision, can give them a pair of claws, which are agile, unarmed attacks that throw down 2d6 slashing damage, you're an expert with them, or sent out to 60 feet, or swim speed equal to half your speed for a minute at 2 actions. That seems playable to me. That's very modal, not unlike a druid in Pathfinder 1st edition, and frankly now as well. What you need, when you need it. That plays real nice with hand wraps of Mighty Fists as well, because that's an unarmed attack. Suddenly 2d6 slashing damage is doing 7d6 with plus 5 hand wraps. Yeah, no, that's a very scary wizard. That's the Magus if you archetyped into fighter. Maybe that's an optimization video in and of itself. Dang, I learned something today. Other than that, though, with the exception of, like, general wizard feat buffs, that's the only thing the school sees in the class itself. But we're specifically here today to talk about polymorph spells. Now, so far as spells with the polymorph descriptor go, they kind of run the gamut, everywhere from enlarge and baleful polymorph to, well and truly, all the spells a wild druid can cast with their muscles, still not over that. And truly, a lot of these spells also appear on the arcane spell list. Aerial form, dragon form. Now, of course, the wizard is only staying there for a minute. Now, AAA1E2R3 has pointed out, it seems the druid is the one who's supposed to be good at the polymorphing, and that is kind of correct. That is what they do: form control, healing transformation, casting off their biceps. It's just good. There's no other way to say it. It is just good. But, of course, there has to be a thing or two that we, the wizard, can cast on the arcane spell list that the druid can't, that helps buff the build out. For starters, the wizard has shield as a cantrip, the druid does not. It's not on the primal spell list. Now, of course, there's some ancestry cartwheels you can do to grab this. Having something without doing said cartwheels is really nice, to say nothing of both mage hand and message. two spells that are frankly really versatile. Mage Hand is classically the spell that cheats all the puzzles. Need to solve a puzzle? Throw Mage Hand at it. Message still allows you to speak quietly to people. And heighten that up to third, it's out to 500 feet. And no longer do you have to point at someone to do that. That's really good. So basically what it comes down to is this. A lot of spell lists now share a lot of spells. Druids are casting Fireball, Bards are casting Haste. Everyone's really casting Haste, basically. But we've got to get real nitty-gritty with it. We're not going to hit every spell level this time, but what makes the arcane Transmuter shine over the Wild Druid will be the spells on the arcane list that are not on the primal. Here's just a few. First off, and you're handed this pretty fast if you want it as a Transmuter, Magic Weapon. For 2 actions, touch a non-magical weapon that's unattended or is wielded by you or an ally, and it gets a +1 item bonus to attack rolls and does another die of damage on a hit. That's amazingly powerful. For example, take like a short sword, something that does 1d6 points of damage. When attacking with a short sword, you are equally likely to do 6 points plus mods and things as you are 1, but then get a +1, and the average becomes 7. That's a huge buff in damage, and you have it in-house, the Druid does not. Also, we can't go without mentioning the almighty Magic Missile. Is that exactly what we want to do? No. It's the same with Color Spray. We have both of them. Magic Missile heightens real hard, eventually throwing 15 missiles at somebody's face. That's gnarly. To say nothing of Color Spray, which no longer has a hit die cap. Yeah, didn't know that. That's a thing. It's just 4 degrees of dazzling, unaffecting, blinding and dazzling, or stunning, then blinding. This scales all the way up through the game. Get a bunch of people stunned, have some meta magic, so you spent 1 action for that, and then spend 2 more polymorphing into a dragon. It's hard to argue with that, and if they want to argue, eat them. It goes on even farther. At level 2, Blur is an automatic conceal. Flat checks to even touch the thing. Again, it's not necessarily a transmutation spell, but there's nothing saying we can't cast it. Also, in a world where it's a lot harder to have access to languages, comprehend language becomes that much more powerful. And when you heighten this thing from 2nd to 3rd, they also can speak the language. Up to 4th, it hits 10 creatures, aka the party plus all their NPCs, just right there. And the Druid doesn't have access to that. That literally can mean the difference between a TPK and getting information you needed if you roll up on a camp of giants and they don't speak a lick of common and no one in the squad speaks a lick of Jotun. And the list goes on and on and on. The Transmuter Wizard, sure, has less toys in the toy box than, say, a polymorphing Druid does. That's true, but to put it another way, the Transmuter Wizard has more tools in the tool shed than the Druid does by themselves. So is a Transmuter Wizard still playable? Yeah. Are they still viable? Of course. Anyway, what do you guys think? Am I crazy here? Is this playable? Is a pseudo arcane Druid worth having in your party? Is there a particular spell list or school of spells you'd like to see covered on this channel? If so, they go in the comments. We'll get right on them. But also, you know, there's a whole nother edition of Pathfinder out there from like 10 years back. Our next episode of Min-Maxing for Fun and Profit this Saturday will be for Legacy Pathfinder, optimizing channel energy. See you there.